So, friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're talking about how we can monetize our purpose. But at the end of the day, we're also talking about why we don't monetize our purpose. We've already found out in the previous episodes that purpose is universal. There is no discrimination as far as it's concerned. Every human being has a place to serve. The reason as to why we are alive and we are here is because of a particular purpose that we are meant to serve. Primarily, that's the reason. That's the idea behind our existence. Of course, as we exist, we've got to, have fun, adventure, some comfort, some progress in life, money, health, wealth, relationships, and all those things on the Maslow's pyramid. But the primary basic reason for our lives is to be productive with our purpose. Now, even as we are being productive with our purpose, the question is, why is it that we do not monetize that particular purpose? Given that everybody has purpose, why don't we monetize it? That's what we're discussing in this episode. And I want us to look at one more reason as to why we don't monetize our purpose. So stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
The interesting thing in life is that they tell us that not everyone is a business person. Not everyone can be an entrepreneur. I agree to that extent. Entrepreneurship sometimes is one of those hard-hitting things in life, as you've got to have some kind of unique skill set to be able to do it. But if you are not gifted as an entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that you cannot monetize your purpose. You see, in every way that we add value in this life, in each and every one of those ways, it's kind of like a business. The only way that you can say maybe it's not a business is when someone employs you and pays you. You do some specific tasks in your job description, and at the end of the month, they pay you an X amount of money. Probably that's where the excuse can come in. But at the end of the day, when it comes to our purpose, each and every single one of us can turn our purpose into profit. There are some ways that we can be able to apply, some things we can be able to apply, some pillars we can be able to build upon so that we can turn our purpose into profit. Myself, I know I'm gifted in some ways. I'm gifted in speaking. I'm gifted in writing. And if you ask me, in the whole universe right now, in the whole world right now, are there people who are earning from those two gifts? Are there people who are earning from speaking? And are there people who are earning from writing? The answer is yes. In fact, multiple times. There are people who are best-selling authors, and there's a mechanic, there's a science, there's an art around the creation of the business of being a bestseller. And then there are those ones who are earning from speaking. There is a mechanic, there is some science and some art behind creating a business where you're going to earn from speaking. Well, maybe you might say, but that doesn't happen in the developing countries. It only happens in the developed countries. Still, it doesn't mean that you cannot do something about that. There are some reasons as to why, and I've talked about some of them, reasons as to why we don't monetize our purpose. We don't turn our purpose or our gifts and our talents, our ideas into profit. And one of the reasons is ignorance. I discussed that in 2 episodes back. We just basically don't know. Have you ever seen someone so gifted, so talented, strumming a guitar like in a street, and people just stand still? And all this person is doing is collecting alms on his guitar box. People throw in a coin and so on. But there's no question about his gift. There's no question about his talent. There's no question about his genius. The question is on the ignorance of the business of his genius, the business of his talent. That's the first thing. We don't turn our purpose into profit because we are absolutely ignorant. Someone told us that the only way you can be able to earn money is when someone employs you and then pays you at the end of the month. We don't know that we can be able to create value in our respective niches and passions, and in exchange we create a structure through which we can be compensated for the things that we do. So ignorance. Now, the thing that I've just explained about ignorance is number 2, status quo. Status quo, for the most part, those of us who come from Africa, we have not really, and I'm going to talk about that today, we've not really been exposed in a way that it's a mainstay, or in a way that is in the psyche of society. There's this thing you can be able to do and earn from your passion. How many times have you seen talented, gifted people being forced to go to school? The other day, sometime in December, I was speaking to a congregation. My dad invited me to speak to a congregation of youth who came from all over Kenya. And they gathered somewhere in Western Kenya, and they were having this conference. And I was talking to them about purpose. And I reflected, in the presence of my father, I reflected and I said, I don't know why they were forcing me to do biology and physics. And they knew from primary school that I was gifted with writing. Why would they force me to do that? And even right now, I don't remember a thing about chemistry and physics and biology. And the money that I'm making today is coming from my gift and talent of writing. So that's the status quo I'm talking about. Parents, especially in Africa, get scared when you take a path, or when you gravitate towards a path that is not necessarily the one that is going to employ you. Lawyer, engineer, architect, and doctor, and accountant. Those ones are the status quo. The others, what do you mean poems? I mean, what do you mean speaking to people? What do you mean painting? Who earns from repairing electronics? Who earns from singing? That's the status quo. But thank God it's started to improve of late, and things are becoming better. The third reason as to why we don't monetize our purpose is exactly what I've been talking about. Number 3, there is no proven path. There is no proven path. If you did a research on the word gig economy, G-I-G economy, I've talked about that very many times in these episodes, you'll be given statistics, and this is like 5 years ago, that 40% of people working, 40% of workers in America are working in the gig economy. In fact, it's something that Hillary Clinton quoted in her campaigns when she wanted to become president against Trump. 60%, 40% of workers in America in 5 years ago, maybe more than 5 years ago, were going to be working in the gig economy. Gig economy. The gig economy means this: you are not going to be employed by someone. You get an idea, you run with the idea, it solves a problem, it creates value in society, you are compensated for that idea. The only thing you get is maybe contracts, short-term contracts from people, different types of people. That's a gig. You hear these people saying, I'm a hustler and so on. They do gig economy. They create something. Maybe you create an app or something like that, and that becomes your gig. You're an app creator, or you are in a band. That's a gig, right? You perform every Wednesday at a particular place, and sometimes you perform in a corporate setting, and people in the corporate world, they see you and they give you gigs. Wherever they have a function, they remember you and they give you gigs. That's the gig economy. Now the thing is, that is not a proven path, especially when we're taking our kids to school. For the most part, we prepare them not for the gig economy, we prepare them for the employment world. There is nothing wrong with that. The only problem is that it doesn't solve and help everyone. It helps a part of people, part of society, those ones who are bookworms, those ones who are academically gifted, those ones who are sharp upstairs. That's the purpose, that's the way it helps. Those are the kind of people that it helps. But the rest, who are gifted in gigs, in other things, cannot be helped with that. That's why I'm saying there is no proven path. Now, thankfully, this proven path have started coming up, especially in this day and in this age of social media. We are now seeing people earning from YouTube. We are seeing people earning from TikTok, right? We're seeing people earning with, like this guy called, I've forgotten his name, this TikToker, the biggest TikToker in the world, the Senegalese. That black guy who just does his hands and so on, does a skit and he's earning. Now that's a semblance of a proven path. The problem is, it is one and once in a blue moon. So you have one example of a Senegalese. If you look in your vicinity right now, do you see any proven path of someone earning from their purpose? It's hard to come by, and I want to dwell on this a bit, maybe finish it in the next episode. It's difficult to see someone with a proven path. Let me not say that. It's difficult to see many people, so much so that it becomes a critical mass, with a proven path of earning from their purpose. When you turn every left, right and center, when you turn and you see people who are really making it in life and so on, for the most part, they are the guys who are following a proven path. What is the proven path? Go to school, get a degree, get employed and start going up the corporate ladder. That's a proven path. It's worked for time immemorial. It's worked for our parents. It's worked for our friends. It works for our brothers and our sisters. It's working as we speak. It's proven. It's there. But start counting in your family. How many guys are earning from their gig? Right? Then we start seeing that this is not necessary. It's a risk. There's no certainty in there. It's a risk to take that particular path. And that's the reason many people do not monetize their purpose, even though the purpose is there, even though the gift and the talent is obvious. But when you look around, there's no evidence. There's no evidence that someone is earning from their gig. And so what do? You bench it. Now that's my cue for me to stop there. Tomorrow we're going to continue talking about this no proven path. But until then, bye-bye.